Rockstar has apologized.
To you?
No,
Personally?
to everyone.
Damn.
For the release of Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy, the definitive edition. We talked about this last week. This thing's a shame. It's a crying shame that such important games have been rendered in such a shitty fashion. And so they put out a statement saying like, hey, this is not what we wanted to put out. And yet they did. It's weird how that works.
Our bad, y'all. Sorry.
Our bad. We did the thing we did.
Yeah. Firstly, we wanted to sincerely apologize to everyone who has encountered issues playing these games. The Grand Theft Auto series and the games that make up this iconic trilogy are as special to us as we know they are to fans around the world. The updated versions of these classic games did not launch in a state that meets our own standards of quality or the standards our fans have come to expect. We have ongoing plans to address the technical issues and to improve each game going forward. With each planned update, the games will reach the level of quality that they deserve to be. I fucking doubt it.
Good luck.
When we talk about deserve to be, and again, like, not to just like fucking walk down memory lane for a long time, but like what those 3 Grand Theft Auto games deserve is nothing short of like a full on fucking like Demon's Souls PlayStation 5 level of attention.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
With how important those things were.
It's so much harder to do that stuff at that scale, though. Like,
of course. I'm not saying it's easy, but
that would never happen.
It'd never happen. And I don't think it will. But they're the ones using the words deserve to be.
Yeah.
And I think when I think about those games and their place in video game history.
Yeah, you said it, definitive edition, right?
Definitive, yeah. Definitive, except
definitive
for the songs we couldn't
what?
license, and except for the,
exactly.
like, it's already down a notch just as a result of that sort of stuff, and that's minor shit, right? They did put out a patch. They have corrected some stuff, notably the awful rain effect that modders had to go try to fix.
Oh, yikes. That was not great.
They've fixed that sort of stuff. They are also going to put the classic PC versions of these 3 games up on the Rockstar store as a bundle. And they're saying that anyone who has purchased the definitive edition on the Rockstar store through June 30th, 2022 will get those classic versions at no additional cost. I wonder if those are the classic versions with the music intact, or if they are because they did do an incremental. They have done other re-releases of these games in the past, so I don't know what they're actually selling there.
And in many ways, like this one, I feel like if they had marketed it as, because this was, Grove Street were doing this, right? Which is one of their studios that sort of works on a bunch of mobile stuff predominantly.
Yeah, they did. The mobile version of Bully, I think, was one of the other Rockstar things they worked on. So it felt like, and I think the baseline for this as well was the mobile versions that they had used already, because they'd already released all of these on mobile. As well, and then they got ported back to was it like Xbox 360 that those mobile versions already have come out on once?
Oh, I think you're right. I can't remember which one it was, but it felt like this is the problem with trying to remaster games at this scale, and then 3 of them. It's like you can't have that type of level of detail. You have to use, especially if you're not spending that much money on it, maybe. But so it's kind of like the whole thing is a real cautionary tale, I think, for other people who are going to try and bring back games that are old but still require like the fidelity required to remake. Like San Andreas, that map is super big. Like
it's insane.
Like how can
it's insane.
you can't. We don't have them. Like modern GTAs take like 10 years, right? And that's with farming this stuff out to 3D artists in Indonesia that can go through every single table. You know what I mean? Like it's not the same thing. So it's
if anything, they should have just like released them as is, upscaled, like get them running. Don't do a lot to them, redo some of the control stuff. Like, if you could put GTA 5 controls into those 3 games, I think that would be a good modern improvement. Mm-hmm. But it just feels like they just took, it seems like they took those mobile ports, got them running on Unreal, if they weren't already, and shipped them. And they look like shit.
And this is a cautionary tale that was already told like I said last week, back in 2012 with Konami's HD collection for Silent Hill 2 and 3. And it's like, nobody paid attention to that. We're going to do it again with
No
this
one
Rockstar
saw the
situation.
signs.
Open world
Yeah.
games? Are they?
No one
Yeah,
saw
let's do
the
that, but
signs.
harder and make it even worse. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a massive
So
shame.
I wonder where they will get to with these in the end when they do call it done, because they talk about it. They talk about it the way that CD Projekt Red talked about Cyberpunk, when they was like, we're working on multiple patches. We've got multiple updates to do, and we'll keep working. Like it has that sound to it for sure. But they're not gonna get it to. I don't know. We'll see where they get it to. I'm sure it'll end up being like fine, right? Where you're like, oh, okay, yeah, you guess you did the thing. But when you think about Definitive and you think about those games, like it's not going to be some big deal.
I've been bouncing my way through them and enjoying them just fine. But I think a lot of this also would have hit the ear slightly better is there not this just like sort of issue with when it comes to litigation and whatnot in the modding community over the GTA games over the years.
Yes.
And then pulling those classic versions off of Steam. Like it just, I think a lot of people were sort of primed to like be pissed at this as well. And rightly so, because of
they set the table by going like, hey, we know, like people have done years of work to try to do cool shit to these games. And then they're like, I don't know, we're going to put out these mobile ports and try to take everything else off sale. Great. Thanks. It sucks.